penalty, Jay, so that was just a free play opportunity as they jumped early. The decision to throw into double coverage, why not, though, if it's a free play?
Draco Statham, I believe, is the defensive back that came down with that, but
illegal
like
defense.
Shaken up a little.
Number 15 was out of his stance before the snap.
On his back on the
5-yard penalty. We'll replay first down.
So we do have encroachment is the call. And we'll see that with the defensive line as they're trying to cheat and jump the count as they've been so quick to fire off the ball. That's great work by Benson to alter his cadence.
So while they attend to, I believe that's Statham. I can't really get a number on him, but I believe that's number 6. He's out of Dodge City Community College, 6'1", 185.
And Dodge City famously, if fans are familiar with Last Chance University in the Indy Community College season, they had some classic games against Dodge City. I had asked Omaha's coaches if that was one of the same during that filming, and took place too recently for that to have happened. But yeah, Last Chance University on Netflix. And also, you will see a lot of players in the CIF.
Don't miss a second of the action as the Billings Outlaws take on the Southwest Kansas Storm Saturday, April 29th at First Interstate Bank Arena. Get your tickets today.
All the players, how they end up here is everyone has a story, and that's kind of what's so unique about the Champions Indoor Football League is how did these players end up here in Billings? Here's the give to Batiste. No, it's Benson on a fake handoff across the 10. Batiste was there, but a host of tacklers there as well.
Sure, and Omaha did a great job getting their hands inside on that, as it was a called read and take.
So Benson over talking with head coach Sean King as they're trying to figure this out. Second down now. Clock is running less than right down to the 30-second mark and running here at the end of the first quarter. Omaha 7, Billings nothing. This is a dramatic turn of events from the first time these two teams played, when Omaha really jumped out to a huge lead and Billings never could catch up.
Yeah, offensively, Omaha has not been the bright star that it has coming in.
Here's Benson looking to the corner, intended for Laughing House. Oh, it's for Josh Best. And the ball goes incomplete. Best wanted the interference call, but I don't see any infraction, so that'll bring up third down.
Sure, the defensive back there, Jay, did a great job of shielding. That's what Best is complaining about, because at some time
the end of the first quarter
has to release and play the ball instead of the man.
Actually, the ball got there maybe before he even had a chance to turn around. Looked like it was intended for Josh Best over there, but so that is the end of the first quarter. Let's take a quick timeout. It's Omaha 7, Billings nothing. We'll be back right after this timeout. We're on. It takes me a while to get into the swing of things.
Going okay, though? Okay.
Welcome back. TDS Fiber Field here at MetraPark as the Outlaws hosting the Omaha Beef. one quarter in the books, and it's Omaha 7, Billings nothing. Jay Cohn along with Merrick Parnell. Glad you could join us here on the CIF streaming network. And here's Tommy Armstrong, the quarterback now for the Omaha Beef. Or excuse me, I'm sorry. The Outlaws on offense there. They were on the opposite end of the field. I thought, oh, something, maybe we missed something in the timeout. No, it's Billings, and they're right down near the first down marker, so it brings up 4th down. They're at the 6-yard line. So let's see what Billings calls. I see Denarius Antoine in there. I suggested perhaps he was going to get a carry or two here in the game. Let's see, and he's got Jeff Luke right in front of him. Big Jeff Luke.
So they still have a yard until the first down marker. Great call bringing Luke as the fullback.
The give is to Antoine across the 5, close to the goal line, down at the 2.
So Jeff Luke doing a great job lead blocking, playing both sides of the ball, again being a crucial utility player, Jay. And he sets up a first down rush.
Outlaws fans will recognize Luke, familiar face from last year, 6'1", 260. He played a time for the NFL New York Jets, also some times at the University of Cincinnati. Here's the same look. Benson, the quarterback, with Luke and Antoine in the I formation behind him. The give to Denarius. Crosses the goal line in for the score.
And a great play call. I thought for a second that Benson would play out of it and see a play action as the box was packed by Omaha. But he decides to send it in, and we have some pushing and shoving and very physical in the CIF, Jay.
Right now, neither team enjoying each other's presence much. Joel Shaw also with a big block to free Antoine for the score. So here's our new kicker, Darian Crow out of Texas Christian. And can he tie the game? We'll see.
And so Crow making his debut. And previously, the Outlaws did not carry a kicker for a few games.
Isaiah Grice is the holder. Can Crow split the uprights and tie the game? Up, and it's no good, wide left.
It did have the distance,
Yep.
Jay, but it does take a little bit for outdoor players and even various indoor players to dial it in. There's a lot going on behind the plays. We see some party suites and people walking in and out, so it's just kind of settling yourself if you're not used to seating in the end zone.
A fairly good crowd on hand. This is the first game the Outlaws have played on a Saturday night, which is probably their preferred time, but their first 2 home games were played on Monday nights due to scheduling issues. There was a big wrestling tournament here one weekend. Nothing wrong with playing on Monday night, but fans probably associate more with CIF football on Saturdays, and definitely the largest crowd we've seen so far of the season.
Everybody likes seeing the #1 team go down. That's why the Patriots will draw so well on the road, as everyone wants to see the Giant fall.
Absolutely. So the clock is stopped. We're in the second quarter. The Outlaws are a point behind after Darian Crow's extra point sailed wide left. 7-6. It's interesting. Let's talk about those extra points because everyone was so enamored with the new rules where you could go for 3 from the 5-yard line or you could go for 4 from the 10-yard line. And I think absolutely it turns out kicking, even the extra points, even the 1 point is a huge thing as we're seeing right now.
You will see it becomes a game of inches. There's been plenty of Outlaw games decided by 1 or 2 points in the history of the club.
Short kick for the Outlaws, brought down at the 15, and off to the races is Chris Perry.
So an excellent routine return off to the left. We'll see why the kicking game is so important, because they have the ball inside Outlaw defensive territory.
Well, they have to kick from the end zone, of course, in the CIF, and that ball only went to the 15. So Perry picked it up at the 15 and returned it all the way down to the opposing team's 15-yard line. Chris Perry out of the University of Michigan, the defensive back, but also, as we just saw, returns kickoffs. Now here is Tommy Armstrong and the Omaha Beef. We welcome our fans watching over the CIF streaming network. Apologies for technical difficulties, but I believe we have it underway now. Armstrong fakes the handoff, and he's going nowhere. Tackle made by big Richard Ramirez and also Dante Marshall. That was Dante Marshall, I stand corrected, number 98.
So Devonair Concliffe got the call. Just a standard run to the right, but Donahue, an excellent job throwing his blocks off, and that time playing outside technique to gain the edge.
And that'll bring up 2nd and 12, loss of 2 yards. Ball now spotted at the 17-yard line. Armstrong, the quarterback, sends his receivers in motion. And here comes some pressure. Martinelli off the middle. Nearly picked off by Denarius Antoine. Oh, he'd like to have that back.
And Tommy Armstrong throwing into nearly triple coverage as he had the man over the top. Coming into tonight, Jay, Tommy Armstrong, a true dual threat as he can pass, he can rush, he can do it all. So look for him to be involved early.
Absolutely, he's completing 64% of his passes and has only thrown 3 interceptions. That was nearly one as Antoine had the beat on it but couldn't haul it in. And that brings up 3rd down, 3rd and 12, ball at the 17. Can the Beef defense come up and make a stand? Here's Donahue trying to get a head of steam and pass complete over on the far side by the boards. And boy, is that a tough hombre to bring down. I'll tell you what. That's Journey Sloan out of Davenport University. He's one of their top receivers, and we see why.
And Journey Sloan running a quick hit to the outside. Typically, receivers will like that as they can shield both the ball with their body and the boards to prevent people coming from over the top.
And here comes Paul Ortiz, the kicker. He actually runs a kicking camp when he's not playing football. He said he was out of work and decided, why not? Let's try that. So it's worked out pretty well for him. Let's see if he can split the uprights again. Kick is up, and it's no good. Sailed wide left. I'll tell you what, it's hard to tell with only 10-yard wide uprights whether it goes between them from our angle here, doesn't it?
Extremely difficult, and we'll see the field goal posts differ league by league. For example, the National Arena League still kept the nets of the early AFL up.
Well, Omaha stopped after it looked like they were marching right down the field after a strong kickoff, but the Omaha drive came up short as Ortiz's field goal attempt sails wide left. So the score remains Omaha 7, Billings 6. And maybe the Outlaws can get a little offensive stride going. They're kind of looking for that rhythm, and we really haven't seen it yet, but a lot of new faces, as we've mentioned, on the roster. So here's Jamario Benson, your quarterback, right at the goal line. Josh Best, along with Grice, goes deep across the middle. That's Best again, completes it at the 12-yard line. Nice gain of about 8 yards.
So you're starting to see the Omaha defense just sit and stay put. Now you can start doing some other things to the opposite end of the field or even establish a play action or a straight running game.
So right now the Outlaws wide receiver includes Tyrone Laughinghouse, Josh Best, and Isaiah Grice. Jamario Benson seeing who can get open here. In the shotgun. He's just going to throw that one away. No one was open. Josh Best was streaking down the field deep. Tyrone Laughinghouse, the closest receiver in the vicinity of that.
And that's the best decision you could make there. As Benson saw a late rush coming, it was a staggered rush. It's very effective in CIF. Once the linebacker sees that there's coverage, he can take off running through one of the several holes up front or outside technique.
Here to the big 3rd down, the ball at the just shy of the 14-yard line or the 13-yard line. Batiste in the backfield along the hip of Benson. And Laughinghouse is now split out to the near side. And there goes the receivers in motion. Benson getting some happy feet, looking for some running room. And he crosses the 15. He should have enough for the 1st down. In fact, the officials wave the markers forward. So on 3rd down, Benson is able to pick up enough yardage, and that's a 1st down for your Billings Outlaws.
And that was a great call, Jay, with the play fake, because you make the linebacker stop dead in his tracks. The offensive line, or the defensive line, also has to take a peek into the backfield. Great call to set up the first down.
Keep in mind, this is Sean King, only his third game with the team, only his second as the head coach, the interim head coach, and he's kind of hitting his stride as well. So 1st and 10. Benson looking, gets some pressure, and completes the pass to Grice down at the 21-yard line. He took a big hit.
Benson does a great job staying tight in the pocket as it collapsed. We were talking about Sean King, Jay. He's no stranger to the indoor game. He
Absolutely.
played at several levels, including the Arena 1 League. And he's a journeyman and had tons of experience with the Quad City Wheelers, who are a very established indoor team.
Outlaws are lucky to have Sean King here as our interim head coach. And he's trying to get his team back on the winning side of the ledger. Here's Benson, intended for Grice at the 23-yard line, but overthrown. And that'll bring up third down rather. Check that. And again, fans, we don't have our bottom line to show you the down and distance in the play because we've got a few technical difficulties and gremlins in the system this week. So bear with us, but we'll keep you posted. It's 3rd down, 6:18 left here as we count down towards halftime. It's Omaha 7, Billings 6. Very closely guarded game. Good defense on both teams, and neither offense has really had much going for it at this point. Jamario Benson, the quarterback, sends Batiste now in motion back to his hip on the left side. And there goes Laughinghouse in motion. Penalty flag flies as the pass is completed to Josh Best, hammered into the boards at the 23-yard line.
So defensively, Omaha is going to more of a zone coverage. They've made the decision that they're fine with allowing the mid-game passes. They do not want to get beat deep. Again, another good time to establish some misdirection.
Penalty flags on the play. Let's hear what the
Illegal
call is.
defense, number 35 on Omaha, was lined up too close to the line of scrimmage. That penalty has been declined. The results of the play are the first down.
Well, there you heard it.
One of the rules with indoor football is just how you line up because the box can get so packed. We have the rushing rule with the linebacker. In that case, the referee thought that the line of scrimmage was packed with 4 people, which is a violation.
And it means that the Outlaws, they're going to take the play as it was called. So it's a first down, the ball at the just shy of the 21-yard line. Billings showing all kinds of offensive sets here in the early going. And here's the give to Batiste. Oh, we got hit right away and fumbled it, but Benson was there to pick it up for the Outlaws. So what looked like could be a turnover goes right back in the hands of Billings.
And that was an all-out blitz by Omaha. They brought both guys, and a great call to stuff them in the backfield. They're lucky that they did not lose the ball there, Jay.
Absolutely. Josh Batiste out of McNeese State, 5'10", 195. He's not that big, and he took a shot, and the ball came out right away, but bounced right into the hands of Jamario Benson. So that brings up second down. Ball at the 21. First down line to gain is at the 12. That's what the Outlaws will have to do to keep the chains moving. Benson getting some pressure, rolls out and finds Batiste, and he lost the handle on it, and it goes right into the hands of Omaha. Let's see if he had it enough for a completion. There were also penalty flags down. What'd you see there, Merrick?
So a good idea sending Batiste out into the flats, just into the midfield. However, loses a crucial fumble there. And that's twice the Outlaws haven't had great ball security, Jay.
The results of a play is a fumbled ball recovered by Omaha. Prior to the pass, holding, number 69 on the offense. That penalty has been declined. First down, Omaha. This will also be the first media timeout of the quarter.
So there you heard the call. I wasn't sure that Batiste had it long enough for it to be a fumble, but they called it on the field, catch and a fumble. And bounced right into Omaha. The holding call goes also against Billings.
And as they say in the NFL, a football move was made there to establish possession. Also, not a bad idea to get a little extra jersey on that, as Omaha has been so crucial on a pass rush. And that's just a tactical move, but occasionally got caught.
Well, the fans here at the Metra are making all kinds of noise. They handed out these thunder sticks as the fans came in, and they're making their presence known. So Omaha, with a turnover again, will take over inside their own territory, but just barely at the 24-yard line. And Batista's had some problems keeping that ball under control. He fumbled on 2 plays earlier that bounced right into Jamario Benson's hands, but that was a big hit he took there, and that ball came out, bounced right to Omaha.
And when Omaha is flying around the ball and laying some big tackles, it does make the ball carriers a little extra nervous. He might have heard some footsteps on a few of those and wanted to make a move quickly to get out of danger. Sometimes it's forgotten to secure the ball in the process.
Those footsteps, you can't blame them. When you get down on the field, as we were before this, Merrick, you realize how big these players are. From up here, they all look about the same size. Once you get down on the field, it's a reality check. They're very large humans.
And Omaha is so fast and so athletic defensively. They did not go with the size approach.
Clifford Porter Jr., one of their offensive linemen, 6'4", 315 out of Nevada, Reno. He takes up quite a bit of real estate down there. So here is first down for Omaha. They're up 7-6. Clock at 4:30 left till halftime. Tommy Armstrong looks and finds and completes the pass to Devonair Conliff, and he's down inside the 20 to the 19-yard line.
So they had Martinelli stay home and cover that flat, as Omaha is also looking to establish a mid-game pass rush. Martinelli, a very athletic linebacker that also can come up with some big tackles.
Gain of 8 yards on the play brings up 2nd and 2 rather. Clock is running down, 4 minutes left till halftime. Omaha leads it 7-6. Tommy Armstrong, your quarterback for the Beef, throws it across the middle, and it's complete. Nice to Travion Samuel out of Memphis. And Denarius Antoine in there on the defense, but nice pass from Armstrong.
That was a gamble by the Billings Outlaws. They brought Martinelli in on the blitz. It does not pay off as it opened the seam route, as we saw there.
1st and 10 now for the Beef at the 5-yard line. Can the Outlaws come up with a stop? And there's some movement along the offensive line for Omaha, and that penalty will back them up.
And that was Clifford Porter Jr.
Number 50 on the
letting
offense,
the crowd
5-yard
noise
penalty.
get the best
Stays
of them.
first down.
So they'll back the Beef up 5 yards, back to the 10. It'll still be 1st and goal from there. Clock is stopped, 3:26 left. Now it's running as we tick it down towards halftime. Omaha leading Billings 7-6 here in the early going. Good crowd here inside MetraPark, TDS Fiber Field, First Interstate Arena. Take your pick. Armstrong gives the running play, and it's Jeff Luke. Jeff Luke with a big stop on Travion Samuel. That was a mismatch from the get-go.
We did see a misdirection, though, that unfortunately Luke jumped at and tried to make the tackle. However, the ball was tucked and ran the other way on a quick draw play. Draw plays can be the key to the game in many indoor offenses.
My apologies. I was totally faked out on that. Thanks for bailing me out there, Merrick. So the touchdown on the draw play puts the Beef back on the scoreboard. They expand their lead to 13-6. Here's Paul Ortiz. Let's see if he can split the uprights from here. Well, that was a great fake. I took it and called Luke for the tackle. And Ortiz is good to go. Another little scuffle, but Ortiz splits the upright and gives his team a 14-6 lead. Clock is stopped with 3:04 again. The officials have to step in and try to separate the teams. A little edgy out there.
We'll see passion start to run high, especially in the trenches, as it gets pretty fast and furious in there with a lot of big bodies.
So Omaha on a little draw play, faked me out and faked much of the Outlaws line as well. The touchdown was scored with 3:04 to go. Omaha leads at 14-6. So Outlaws have to determine how they can get back in this game. Maybe before halftime they need a touchdown and maybe one of those 3-point extra points to reclaim the lead. Omaha's had the lead since an early strip sack Jay-Sean Washington went the distance for their first touchdown. Paul Ortiz added the extra point, and we watched the drop play score again as Omaha scores from a 1st and 10 after an offensive motion call. So a 10-yard touchdown with 3:04 to go puts Omaha up 14-6.
Omaha does an exceptional job rushing, Jay. They come in with a 91 rush yards per game coming into this year, and so that's an adjustment that the Billings Outlaws defense will have to make, whether it's with Martinelli staying home and reading or a safety coming in over the top to help on run stop.
Josh Best and Josh Batiste back. The ball takes a huge bounce. This is Best with it. Can he get a block? He cannot. Stopped before the 10-yard line. Tackle there by Ponce de Leon, I believe. That's a great name out of Shepherd University. He's found the fountain of youth, Merrick.
That's right. He seems to have found the illustrious fountain of youth and has stepped up and made some great plays on the special teams end.
Ponce de Leon, he's listed as the athlete, as Merrick mentioned, 5'10", 189. But he had the quick move that time as Josh Best just could not get away from him. So the Outlaws will put it into play at the 9-yard line. And the clock is running here in the final 3 minutes of the half, down to 2:25 left to go. Jamario Benson along with Batiste off his right hip. Josh Best and Grice go in motion. Benson trying to find someone deep, running around in the end zone for his life. Throws it. Ooh, Batiste had to go right off his fingertips at the 9-yard line, so it drops for an incomplete pass.
So with that play, the bailout was there with the halfback. Also, Laughinghouse came back inside and could not see it from Benson as that line gets pretty tall in a hurry.
The Omaha line, Javare Nichols, 6 foot 280, one of their defensive ends. We mentioned Clifford Porter. They have some big boys up front, but as do the Outlaws. So Benson faces a 2nd and 10. The clock running with 1:30 to go till halftime. Benson in problems, tries to throw, and it's maybe knocked as a fumble, or is that an incomplete pass? Let's see what the call is. Benson hit right as he tried to get rid of it. It looks to me like there's a scrum for the ball. They said it was an incomplete pass.
Initially,
or was that a completed recovery by the Outlaws? I'm not sure which.
Initially, the referee threw the spot bag there, which typically indicates a turnover, and it appears it might be overruled.
Oh, media. That's the final media timeout of the half.
Well, let's hold it right here as we talk about things as we have a minute to go till halftime. The Beef lead at 14-6, and it looks like it's going to be Billings football, but it didn't look that way for a while.
And with the Outlaws backed up into their own territory, that allows the defensive line to really key off the ball, and they are so good at getting penetration and collapsing that pocket around Benson. It makes it really difficult.
Benson that time running for his life in the end zone, got hit right as he tried to unload the ball. Apparently they called it as a fumble, not an incomplete pass, and there was a scramble for it, and they ruled that the Outlaws came up with it. So Johnny on the spot for the Outlaws, but it was dodging a bullet there as it looked like Omaha might have the ball inside Billings territory deep.
And defensively, when you can establish a pass rush like the Beef have done, that allows the linebackers and the defensive backfield to stay home like we saw there.
Jay Cohn, Merrick Parnell, glad you can join us here on the CIF streaming network. And again, our apologies, had some problems at the start of the game, but we're up and running now, and this has been a good one. Omaha comes in undefeated, 5-0, and the Outlaws come in at 2-3 in the 5th position in the league. And right now, the Omaha Beef enjoying an 8-point lead with a minute to go till halftime.
And it has been a defensive showing by Omaha Beef as they did not get on the board with an offensive touchdown till midway through the first half. That's definitely a victory for the Outlaws, and they'll look to assemble a few more.
especially the first time these two teams played. Omaha won 47-19, pretty much had their way with the Outlaws. All right, Jamario Benson looking deep, finds some running room across the 15, breaks a tackle at the 20, still across midfield, and he loses the ball as he got a hit right at the 20, and that'll be Omaha football, I believe. That's too bad. Benson had it cross midfield.
Again, ball security starting to become an issue. I know back in the UIF and NIFL days, we actually had to rub a special, almost like a Potomac River mud like MLB does, but it seems to be an extra slick hand egg.
Well, you've handled these CIF footballs. They are a little slick. They're the white and blue kind here, and that white seems to be a little slicker than most footballs once you get a handle on it. And, of course, that's the nice thing about the CIF. And when those balls flies into your suite, you get to keep it as a souvenir. So can Omaha add to their lead? They lead at 14-6, 46 seconds left here till halftime. And here's the give in the backfield, and off to the races for Omaha down across the 10. Good yardage that time. And the running play there.
Yeah, Draco Statham coming across on the jet sweep almost from the opposite end. That's a great call by Omaha.
Having a tough time seeing whether that's a 6 or an 8. We have Journey Sloan, one of the wide receivers. He wears number 8, and Draco Statham wears number 6. And the way they're bunched up on their jerseys, you really can't tell.
It does make it difficult, and Omaha has some extra graphics put on with their logo on the front, which kind of gets in the way. We'll see a stoppage here, Jay.
Timeout.
12
Omaha.
seconds left.
Their second of the half.
Omaha has the ball deep into Billings territory at the 9-yard line.
Now, unfortunately for the Outlaws, there's going to be 4 good attempts at the end zone. You can start going for the end zone on the first few. And with the offense clicking for Omaha, the Outlaws can't key in on one play or another as far as defend the pass or defend the run or spy the quarterback. So they're going to be in a hard job.
Absolutely. Fans here trying to rev things up for the hometown Outlaws. Billings has not been in the Metro for 3 weeks. They hit the road after the victory over Rapid City back on the 27th. They went to Gillette where they were humbled 73-28 in a big loss. Salina last 2 weeks ago defeated the Outlaws 33-30, and they had a bye week. The Outlaws did last week, so it's been a long time since they've been in the friendly confines here at TDS Fiber Field. Tommy Armstrong back now. He's loose. Penalty flag flies as he crosses the goal line and gets in for the score. But let's check that penalty flag. Tommy Armstrong just took off once he saw no one was open.
Well, and he had some help from an apparent hold here. We'll check to see if that's verified. But the lineman just at the last gasp, losing their block. Sometimes you just have to grab anything you can.
Result of a play is a touchdown. Illegal twist on the defense, number 49 and 98. That penalty is declined.
I stand corrected in that call, Jay, is that there's no stunting or twisting in the CIF. So Donahue ended up committing the infraction, and that's just being used to the outdoor game, although he has made quite a career in the CIF.
So Omaha takes advantage. Tommy Armstrong with about a 10-yard run around the right guard and had a big collision as he crossed the goal line, but he definitely made it in. Just 5 seconds left in the half. That was a big play for the Beef. Give him a little extra breathing room, and here's Ortiz. See if he can add his 3rd extra point of the evening. Ball is down, kick is up, and the kick is good. So 21-6, Omaha with the lead, just 5 ticks left on the clock. As we count down towards halftime, we'll keep it here. What's Billings going to have to do in the second half, Merrick, to get back in this?
Sure, offensively, Billings is going to have to find out a way to either contain Tommy Armstrong, so either keeping a spy there and then having secure coverage man-to-man, or they're going to have to go in and establish an even better pass rush. The problem with that, though, is Omaha's been so effective on the pass rush. Tommy Armstrong becoming a magician to get out of a lot of tricky situations.
And ball security, as you mentioned, Lots of turnovers that have led right to great field position for the Beef. And that's going to be something Billings will have to take care of, because those turnovers have turned into immediate points for Omaha. 5 seconds left till halftime. And Ortiz will be kicking off here for Omaha. We'll see perhaps Best or Batiste. Take your picks of the Joshes. They're looking for a good return here on perhaps the final play of the half. Ortiz will be kicking off from his own end zone, and it goes right to Josh Best. He picks it in the 10 at the 15, still alive, cuts it outside at the 20, still on his feet, and down he goes at the 15-yard line. And that'll do it for the first half here at TDS Fiber Field. The visiting Omaha Beef come in at 5-0, and they're enjoying a 21-6 lead at halftime over your hometown Billings Outlaws. And with that, we'll take a quick time.
Storm chasers from out of state immediately follow.
You've probably seen them running around town lately. My father has owned this company for over 20 years.
I've been local my whole life, and we're going to be here long after the storm is over.
Donahue Roofing offers an unprecedented lifetime warranty.
We're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. We'll work with your insurance company to make it easy on you.
When you need help, choose local.
And call Donahue Roofing and Siding today.
Brown Plumbing and Heating is expanding to a full-service plumbing company. Brown Plumbing has been serving the Billings area since 1985, doing new construction and remodels. In addition to those services, we'll now be specializing in drain cleaning, repairs, and replacement. From water heaters to water softeners, Brown can do it all. For a free in-home estimate, call Brown Plumbing and Heating today. Don't miss a second of the action as the Billings Outlaws take on the Southwest Kansas Storm Saturday, April 29th at First Interstate Bank Arena. Get your tickets.
Not all replacement windshields are created equal. At Econoglass, we install windshields that are made to a car manufacturer's original specifications. Visit one of our locations to speak with an expert about your next windshield installation. Get quality. Get Econoglass. Remodeling your bathroom? Econoglass can transform your home with our Lumax shower doors. Designed for strength and stability and typically installed in 1 day or less. Visit one of our locations to speak with an expert about your next shower doors. Get quality. Get Econoglass.
stand there.
All right, I'm here at halftime. I'm here at halftime with Outlaw great Mania. Check. We're doing a check, so just test back and forth here, Mania, and then we'll go live. I'll wait for the cue.
Okay, just doing the radio check. Is that clear? Is
Okay.
that clear? Okay. So you just want us just talking?
Yeah, check the levels really quick, and then we'll get the cue to go live.
Okay.
So we should be good momentarily here.
Nice.
So got the levels checked, and then hopefully we'll be underway.
It's been a while since I've done one of these.
No doubt. Me too. All right, I'm here with Outlaw great Mania Smith. Mania. All right, this is Merrick Parnell here with Outlaw great Mania Smith. Mania, what's it like to be back on the other side of the wall coaching?
It's a good feeling. Played my time here, especially in Billings. I'm just excited to be on the coaching side now. Especially when I've played this game for so long, and it kind of helps me stay, keeps me grounded it kind of helps me stay grounded for us when it comes down to playing and whatnot.
Sure. How can you lean on your experience as a player to now coaching, Mania?
Well, just coaching these younger guys into being better themselves for us athletically, physically, and definitely mentally. Being someone that played this game and dominated at this level, I felt like it's just time for me to give back.
Sure. So now we enter halftime. What kind of changes can we expect coming out to start the last half?
We just need to be more physical up front, minimize the mistakes, and like I said, just play football. I think we kind of got away from that. I don't know if it's the pressure, but, just going through different coaching changes and stuff like that. So I just feel like we just need to come out and play a better second half.
So that continuity and chemistry. This has been Merrick Parnell with Mania Smith on the CIF Network.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
welcome back Jay Cohn and Merrick Parnell. Merrick, thanks for the interview there with Minaya. I didn't hear it. What did he say? They're still optimistic down on the sidelines?
Of course, yeah. He said that they got out of their rhythm a little bit, and the line play has to come back and reestablish themselves. He said that it's helpful. He was an all-pro lineman here with the Outlaws in his playing days, so he said it's really helpful to use that experience to talk to some of the younger guys. As we see in the CIF, we have a lot more younger players making the jump from the community college.
Absolutely, and what a great gentleman to come up here and share his experience and his expertise with us. You can see some of the halftime entertainment. Let's talk about that first half. Really a half of turnovers that really bit the Billings Outlaws, and the beef came to play. But offensively, we've kind of held them in check a little bit.
When Omaha establishes such a good run game, they came in 91 yards and throw for almost 240. We do not need to help them out with any other turnovers. So ball security is going to end up being another big tactic, as Omaha was able to capitalize on a few of those turnovers.
Absolutely. We were looking forward to watching Tommy Armstrong. He came in, and he really didn't have to do too much because those turnovers against the Outlaws put him into really fortuitous field position. He did a nice run there at the end to put his team up 21-6 at half.
And with Omaha, an effective double threat or dual threat quarterback rather, and also effective receiving and an effective run game, it really makes things difficult to scheme defensively.
Quarterback Jamario Benson stepping in for the Outlaws after Victor Espinosa left for Tulsa. And he's had some problems here early, mainly because Omaha's thrown the whole kitchen sink at him and really kept him off his stride.
Yeah, that pass rush towards the end of the half really seemed to get to Benson. He's not the tallest quarterback, so sometimes seeing over both your linemen and the defensive linemen proves to be very difficult.
If you're just joining us, the Outlaws come in with quite a few new faces, a real mix-up on both the offensive and defensive side of the field. Jamario Benson taking over for Espinosa at quarterback. We've got Jeff Luke and Denarius Antoine have teamed up to score the one touchdown we have, running that ball right up the middle behind the big fullback Luke. But also we have some new defenders in the backfield for the Outlaws that are kind of getting their feet wet, even though they've played some. It's just a new faces, and the communication isn't quite there yet.
And this is quite the game to get your feet wet and make a debut, as Omaha has become electric offensively. Again, we talked about 91 rush yards. That's not even accounting for all the pass yards that they can rack up. Also, they've managed to score lots of points off turnovers. So at halftime, if I am the Billings head coach, I'm going to come out and establish a quick passing game to get some of the rhythm back, get their confidence back from getting so many turnovers, and ball security can be a positive here.
Well, you can see the family entertainment here going on in the CIF. We've got the junior drill teams. Earlier we had the Yellowstone youth football teams out playing. That's one of the halftime highlights here. They bring the Yellowstone youth football teams out. And that's a brilliant marketing move, I think, Merrick, to have all the parents and the players here at halftime, and those kids have to go, let's go watch the Outlaws again this weekend, Dad.
That's
so
right.
A good move by the Outlaws there to bring and incorporate those youth football players into their whole scenario.
When I used to sit in on league meetings growing up, that was one of the #1 marketing things, as they mentioned, is always have a choir sing the anthem, always have halftime entertainment that has more than just one juggler or one dog, and we're seeing that here tonight. Plus the community involvement. You know that all these youngsters are going to go back, tell their friends, tell their relatives, and we're going to see attendance increase.
Well, this by far is the biggest crowd that we've seen in the 3 games the Outlaws have played here at TDS Fiber Field this season. It's building the first, and of course the first 2 games, as I mentioned earlier, were on a Monday night, so this Saturday night proving to be a crowd pleaser, I think. Bring it on, bring the fans down. You're going to like the entertainment here. The football is good, and the entertainment goes beyond just the football field, as we've seen with the youth football and the junior drill teams. And the fans have these thunder sticks out in force as they came in. Those sticks that blow up they make a lot of noise. And we like that here. This is a big building. It can handle some noise.
And spring in Montana, Jay, you never quite know what the weather's going to be. So all the camping trips, all the opportunities had to be paused for a little bit. Why not come check out some professional indoor football?
Well, Billings and Omaha just one of 3 games going on in the CIF this weekend. Southwest Kansas, the Storm, taking on the Salina Liberty tonight as Sioux City is tangling with Topeka. Gillette is playing a non-conference game tonight against the Fargo Invaders, and Rapid City has a bye, and the Marshals can use a little time off, try to get themselves back. Was watching some of the CIF programming this week, and if the playoffs started today, it would be Southwest Kansas at Sioux City, and Billings would be at Salina. We would rather have a home game in the playoffs, but right now with both Topeka and Rapid City having not won a game, you'd have to say the chances of Billings making the playoffs are very good. The question is, will they get to play at home or will they have to hit the road? Right now, as things stand right now, they'd have to hit the road, but there's some more games to be played.
And Billings has shown that they can compete with the Liberty. They're, of course, coached by former Outlaw coach Haron O'Neill that's made quite a career since coming over to the CIF. He started in the NIFL with the Wyoming Cavalry, was hired here in Billings, made quite the statement here, and then since going to the CIF, they've become almost Yankee-like.
Absolutely. If you're looking forward towards next week, Rapid City takes on Omaha. The same Beef will be playing the Marshals. I'll have to say the Omaha Beef would be favored in that. Gillette takes on Sioux City, and that'll be a good one, as the 4-1 Bandits going into this weekend would take on Gillette at 5-1. And Billings hosts Southwest Kansas, the Storm, next weekend here at the Metra. So looking forward to next week. That might be a good game for Billings to pick up a home victory if they don't happen to pick this up. We're at halftime. Jay Conalon with Merrick Parnell. The Omaha Beef come in undefeated, and right now they're enjoying a 21-6 lead at halftime. We're going to take a quick break and come back and set up things for the second half. We'll be back right after this.
When storms happen, storm chasers from out of state immediately follow.
You've probably seen them running around town lately. My father has owned this company for over 20 years.
I've been local my whole life, and we're going to be here long after the storm is over.
Donahue Roofing offers an unprecedented lifetime warranty.
We're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. We'll work with your insurance company to make it easy on you.
When you need help, choose local.
And call Donahue Roofing and Siding today.
Hard water deposits can damage or even ruin your expensive in-home appliances. Let Brown Plumbing and Heating help you protect your investments with a water filtration system. With our licensed plumbers, installing a new water filtration system will be a snap. Brown Plumbing and Heating offers free in-home estimates and free in-home water testing. Don't let hard water be the downfall of your home appliances. Call Brown Plumbing and Heating for your water filtration system needs.
Not all replacement windshields are created equal. At Econoglass, we install windshields that are made to a car manufacturer's original specifications. Visit one of our locations to speak with an expert about your next windshield installation. Get quality. Get Econoglass. Remodeling your bathroom? Econoglass can transform your home with our Lumax shower doors. Designed for strength and stability and typically installed in 1 day or less. Visit one of our locations to speak with an expert about your next shower doors. Get quality. Get Econoglass.
Don't miss a second of the action as the Billings Outlaws take on the Southwest Kansas Storm Saturday, April 29th at First Interstate Bank Arena. Get your tickets today.
Putting new roofing or siding on your home is not just about slapping on shingles. It's an engineered system. Hi, I'm Mitch Donahue, and this is my son Dylan.
We're proud to be local experienced contractors using the best materials around. We don't just meet code requirements, we exceed them.
Your new project is an investment. With Donahue Roofing and Siding, you can put your money into your home where it belongs.
Why not use the best? Call Donahue Roofing and Siding today.
And welcome back to TDS Fiber Field at MetraPark Arena. Jay Conelon of Merrick Parnell. It's halftime, and the visiting Omaha Beef leading the Billings Outlaws 21-6. So the question is, can the Beef continue their domination, or can the Outlaws get a hold of the ball and hold on to it? Those turnovers have really played a big role in all three of the Omaha touchdowns here in the first half, Merrick.
And luckily for the Outlaws, they're not too major of adjustments and factors. The top one, of course, being ball security. Also getting back to establishing almost a West Coast offense where you look for those quick takes and just dip and dunk down the field.
Jamario Benson.
Don't miss a second of the action as the Billings Outlaws take on the Southwest Kansas Storm Saturday, April 29th.
Seeming to collapse. And he's just holding on to the ball a little bit too long. Again, a mid-range passing attack will get to transferring them out of something like that. Also, they really need to establish a run game. Easier said than done, though, because the Beef have allowed just such few rush yards. So, for example, they've only allowed 47 yards coming into this game on the ground,
which has to be tops in the league, you have to think, as far as defending the run. And Josh Batiste in the backfield has had a hard time with the handle on the football. He's coughed it up a couple times. Fortunately, the Outlaws got it back, but just 2 plays later, a quick pass over the middle, and Batiste was hit hard and lost the handle again. That set up the last score for Omaha. So here we go, Merrick. It's all yours on the play-by-play, and I'll do my best to add a little color, okay?
All right, thank you, Jay. Yeah, Merrick Parnell here with you on the CIF network. And we're coming at you with second half action here in the Magic City of Billings, Montana, with the Outlaws trailing 21-6.
Of course, we mentioned, Merrick, that when these two teams met back on the 10th of March, Omaha won 47-19. So at least a moral victory for Billings to be still in the game at halftime at 21-6. Not a deferential they can't make up.
Of course, and you can wipe out 2 scores, Jay, off defensive turnovers and posturing. And the Outlaws will look to clean it up as we look to see a kickoff. It's Best that will take the duties. And he puts that one squib kick down. That's received at the 5. Bounces up and over and into the end zone. And we'll see a stoppage as the ball flew to the back of the end zone and held up on the dasher board.
Omaha had that ball hit the boards and stayed alive in the end zone. Billings had a chance to recover that for a rouge.
And we'll await word.
The ruling on the field is the ball was muffed up over the wall out of the back of the end zone. By rule, the ball will be placed on the 5-yard line. First down.
So we'll see the ball put at the 5-yard line. Unlike the outdoor game, Jay, for a touchback, which we'd see at the 25 in the NFL.
Don't miss a second of the action as the
Strong in the shotgun. Omaha will go with a twin rushing on either side and a receiver in the slot. And we're ready for action here as the receiver comes in motion. Here's Armstrong. He'll fake a handoff, hand it off left-hand side. And Omaha just cutting the left. The Outlaws came in actually only allowing under 50 yards on the ground, Jay.
That was a good misdirection play. They faked it one way and handed it off the other. Jeff Luke was not faked out. Stopped right up, only a 2-yard gain.
That was Devonair Concliffe, who can play both a receiver in the slot and also take the ball for a rush. Here's second down. And jet sweep right-hand side. And he's hammered against the wall. And a big hit, and we'll see the Ric Flair woos from the crowd after Billings read that play really well.
That jet sweep is very effective, and it has to be such a quick hitter with the close confines of the indoor football game. It was a good game there for Omaha, but had the field been wider, he would have had lots of running room.
So third down and a few for Omaha. Armstrong sends him forward. He'll drop back. He'll look to, he avoids the sack. He'll send it in the middle and nearly intercepted. That was Barton coming up with a massive grab at midfield and keeps the drive going.
Denarius Antoine, the leading tackler in the league and for the Outlaws as well, in on the quick stop, but not before the completion sets Omaha up with a first down.
So we'll see first down at the just on the other side of the 20. So about the 19 3/4 yard line. And Armstrong, empty backfield. He'll send his receivers in motion. Fake handoff. He'll look to go down the field. Donahue provides the pressure. Here comes Martinelli with a big hit. That's Martinelli playing the spy position and comes in and lights up the leading quarterback.
Well, you're right, Merrick. Dylan Donahue had a first shot at him and spun Armstrong around, and by the time he came to see what was happening, here came Martinelli with a big hit for the sack, the first sack for the Outlaws in the game.
And so we talked, Jay, coming into the game, the effectiveness of the pass rush can make such a difference. As we'll see Omaha now, second down. And there's a give onto the right-hand side.
Jeff Mack, the running back out of Long Island University, comes in as their leading rusher. You can see why. He got a big opening there, across the 20.
So when you see the box empty, that's a good call for the handoff to the right-hand side. You don't see too many runs to the outside there, but that time all the cards were right, and we'll see a third down here for the Omaha Beef as Tommy Armstrong struggling to communicate, and he switches his back with the receiver. And we'll see empty backfield.
Jeff Mack now lined up as a wide receiver.
And Armstrong had him over the middle and couldn't hand up with it. Jay, we've talked about the slipperiness of the ball. We might have seen it there.
Absolutely. Jeff Mack was open, but he couldn't collar it. The ball just slipped right off his fingertips, and that'll bring up fourth down. Let's see what Omaha will choose to do.
And so look for the Outlaws to send at least Martinelli. He'll actually line up close to the line. And we'll have a field goal attempt with Ortiz, who comes to us from the Tijuana Gallos in the Mexican Pro League.
This will be a 34-yarder. Ortiz was 3 of 4 in the field goal department last weekend.
And the snap is good, the hold is good, but the kick is no good. That is huge for the Outlaws, coming up with the huge stop to start the first half. We talked about shifting momentum. That's a good example there.
Well, a great note there, Merrick, as Billings comes out and stops Omaha. Paul Ortiz, we mentioned the importance of the kicking game. Last week against Salina, which again was the replay from the Champions Bowl for the last 2 years where Omaha really held on to win. Ortiz was 3 of 4 in the field goal department, successful out of 21, 19, and 28 yards. So the Beef coming in, flaunting their kicking game, which has got to be rated as the tops in the league right now.
And Billings will start with the ball on their 5 after that kick sailed out of bounds. There's a receivers in motion for Benson. He'll drop back, he'll look right, he'll scramble left, nearly avoids a tackle, and thrown into the boards at the goal line. Omaha wants a safety.
Well, let's see what the call is. I thought he might have, Benson might have got over the goal, just out barely before he hit the boards. He pleads his case to the coach, and they're going to spot it right there at the 1 yard line.
So that will be a loss of 4 on the play. Again, the pocket collapsing. And we'll see the Outlaws try and dig themselves out.
Tough field position to start with, but better than giving up the field goal.
So right here would be an excellent time for a running play, and we'll see if the Outlaws can go with that decision, get enough push, or look to go long as receivers come in motion right-hand side. And here's the give to Batiste, and he'll fight for a few yards, and thrown down at the goal line. Might have been a loss of 1 there.
I'll tell you, there's not much running room, and Batiste, give him credit for getting a 1.5 yard gain on that before he was met. He's just overwhelmed by the defender.
So Benson being a dual threat quarterback, perhaps he can make some magic happen as he starts from deep within his own end zone. And has Batiste right-hand side. Benson set and ready. He'll send 2 receivers in motion. He'll drop back to pass. Throws over the middle for Best. Best comes up with the catch and quickly brought down. A positive gain, though, Jay.
Aaron Jackson on the defense there out of Texas A&M. Hit Best. Best had ideas of spinning out of that and making a little more yardage, but it wasn't to be.
So the good thing with that play, not only is it a positive yardage gain, but also establishes some rhythm, which the Outlaws desperately need to do.
Brings up a big 4th down.
Fourth down, and we'll see a new package. We'll see Luke brought in, the linebacker for the Outlaws. Also Donahue. And we'll see what the Outlaws will drop here. They're actually going to attempt the field goal. Welcome to the league, Darian Crow. And he'll attempt one way back from within his territory. And Omaha looks like they'll need
delay game. Number 16 on the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Stays 4th down.
Okay, so a crucial delay a game penalty. And we'll see what they have here. Look out for the fake here, Jay. This is a great time to do it.
Absolutely. There is the 25-second clock here in the CIF. The plays move so quickly it rarely comes into play, but it did there.
And up tempo is the name of the game. Here's Crow. And the snap is up. And it looked like that kick was blocked at the line of scrimmage. And so far that's 2 kicks by Crow. He hasn't quite gotten any mustard on it, Jay.
And it sailed into the stands.
The field goal was kicked out of bounds. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 25-yard line.
25-yard
down,
line.
Omaha. This will be the first media timeout of the second half.
Well, once again, we're seeing how important this kicking game is. We added earlier, we talked about, Merrick, how the 3- and 4-point possibilities had a lot of teams going, who needs a kicker? Well, you need a kicker. I'm sorry. We're going to take a quick timeout with 7:51 left here in the third quarter. It's Omaha 21, your Billings Outlaws 6, and we'll be back right after this message.
When storms happen, storm chasers from out of state immediately follow.
You've probably seen them running around town lately. My father has owned this company for over 20 years.
I've been local my whole life, and we're going to be here long after the storm is over.
Donahue Roofing offers an unprecedented lifetime warranty.
We're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. We'll work with your insurance company to make it easy on you.
When you need help, choose local.
And call Donahue Roofing and Siding today.
Don't miss a second of the action as the Billings Outlaws take on the Southwest Kansas Storm Saturday, April 29th at First Interstate Bank Arena. Get your tickets today. When plumbing frequently clogs, it's a sign of bigger problems. Brown Plumbing has a better alternative that cleans pipes in less time with longer-lasting results. Jetting completely clears your pipes of old, hard-to-remove deposits and roots with highly pressurized water that safely breaks down buildup in your pipes. The jetting method is perfect for any residential or commercial job and is safer for your plumbing. Brown Plumbing, keeping our name out of your drain.
Not all replacement windshields are created equal. At Econoglass, we install windshields that are made to a car manufacturer's original specifications. Visit one of our locations to speak with an expert about your next windshield installation.
With 7:45 remaining. And here's the give. Big hit by Donahue. There's a fake, however. Donahue read that perfectly. However, it's tucked away and ran in a draw play. Very lucky indeed for the Omaha Beef.
Merrick, I'm totally exonerated because in the first half I was totally faked out by that same play. It looked to me like Donahue had a sack there as well, but Armstrong kept it and got positive yardage.
Can be very hard to read. Here's a chance, almost intercepted as Martin Ellie gets a hand on it. And a big defensive play.
Absolutely. Victor had a beat on that, couldn't quite handle it. The receiver was breaking across the middle of the field, but Martinelli stepped in. Great defensive play on his part.
And so we'll see third down coming up here. It would be crucial if the Outlaws could make a stop after not a very good offensive series to start the half. And here's Armstrong. He'll play his box formation with 2 receivers at the line, 2 in the back. They'll motion forward. Here comes Armstrong. He'll look left. He throws it over the middle, incomplete. As he had Devonair Conliff there. And just too hot off the hands, and the refs will get another ball.
And Conliff was open that time. What we didn't see is that Armstrong had all kinds of pressure and had to get rid of it.
So Armstrong staying in, making a read, as we'll see the field goal unit come on with Ortiz, who's won Special Teams Player of the Week last week and one time before.
He has been a great addition to the Omaha Beef. And his kicking has proved the difference last week. And he's been a big difference in this game so far.
And here comes the snap, the hold. Ortiz lays into it. It's up and good. Ortiz hits it from just beyond midfield.
28-yarder.
Don't miss a second of the action as the Billings Outlaws take on the Southwest Kansas Storm Saturday, April 29th at First Interstate Bank Arena. Get your tickets today.
In one of our games here earlier that, it was just unbelievable that no one had a field goal up to that point. And he's showing us why it's very important to have someone that can split the uprights. And again, if you're not familiar with the CIF, those uprights are only 10 yards apart, much tighter than the 18 yards apart in college. So it takes a really good kicker to shine at this level. Obviously, they've got a good one in Ortiz.
And Ortiz has made the transition from the Mexico Pro League to playing in the CIF. It's not always easy to do. We converted soccer players into kickers with the Outlaws of the past, but it's even better when you can get an outdoor gamer to make the conversion here in the CIF.
So the clock is stopped with 5:40 to go here in the third quarter, and again, we don't have the down and distance bar at the bottom of the screen in this game. We apologize for that, but we'll keep you up to breast.
And Ortiz will lay into it. He'll send that one deep. Almost hits the scoreboard, and back of the end zone it goes.
And that is a factor with the scoreboard hanging in the middle of the field. We've seen kickoffs hit that before, and you'll get the ball at midfield in that case. That case, he kicked it all the way over the boards.
The ball was kicked out of bounds on the kickoff. By rule, the ball would be placed at the 25-yard line. First down, Billings. This will be a media timeout. Second in the quarter.
Hang down from the middle. Some teams not at all. For a little bit in the NIFL, there was the Big Sky Thunder that played in the very short-roofed arena. It was a hockey arena there.
We have a media timeout on the field. So we'll take a quick break with 5:35 left here in the third quarter. Omaha has expanded the lead over the Billings Outlaws. They lead at 24-6, and we'll be right back. That even penalizes the kicker for
All right, we are back. 5:35 remaining in the third period. Merrick Parnell along with Jay Cohn here. And 24-6 the score in favor of the Omaha Beef.
We're getting our first-hand look, Merrick, at why Omaha is undefeated and leading the league at this point. They have a very steady lineup. They have a multifaceted offense and a very talented defense. It's nice to see how you stack up against the league's best.
Indeed, first place team in Omaha with the 5th place as Benson sends his receivers in motion. He'll look downfield and just nearly over his receiver.
Isaiah Grice was wide open at the 10, but Benson led him about 2 yards too deep, and he was open.
And we had mentioned that Grice was a fairly newcomer, and it's going to take a few reps of getting that chemistry down, and we saw that effect there. As I'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Outlaws starting a decent field position at the 25, and they trail 24-6.
So that was the most wide open we've seen for a Outlaws receiver right there. They couldn't come up with the connection, but they were at least got some daylight.
And the receiver's in motion for Benson. He'll clap for the snap. Benson scrambles. He'll go right. And he has Best along the boards. Best taking a mob of men to drag him down as he fights for that 1st down marker. And we'll see the spot from the official.
Aaron Jackson in on the stop out of Texas A&M. But he had some help as well.
So 3rd down and about 3. And we'll see what the Outlaws will do here to convert as they trail 24-6, 3rd down and 3, with 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
We haven't seen the Outlaws be able to run the ball much other than when they got down and scored their first touchdown. They have pretty much been held in check by this defensive line.
Benson will start. He'll have Batiste to his left. And heavy formation on the left. He'll give to Batiste. He'll slice and dice and send it upfield. We'll see if it'll be enough for the 1st down.
I think he's going to be just a little short. It'll bring up 4th down. Batiste, as we mentioned, he's quick, but he's slight. 5'10", 195 out of McNeese State. Before playing for the Outlaws, his chosen position was as wide receiver, but his quickness has proved to be elusive and a real asset in the early games.
So we see Luke enter the game. Look for a jumbo set here. And we'll look to give it to the big man up front.
And Denarius Antoine set up as the tailback behind Luke. Let's see if that's how they go. They only need a couple yards.
So I formation here, Thunder and Lightning package, and he'll give it. And we'll see him run for a 1st down as Denarius Antoine takes the ball and just has to lean forward off that jumbo package.
We mentioned, Merrick, that Denarius Antoine was listed in this game as a running back, but he's also the middle linebacker, one of those athletes that can go either way. And you can see why he likes to run the ball. He's tough to bring down. He's a big boy.
And in indoor football, we can see a lot of turnover. The best way to get yourself not shipped out is be as good as much as possible. As we'll see 1st down for the Outlaws. 1st and 10 from just on the other side of the 15. Benson, one back to his right. He'll send his men in motion. He'll send the ball deep. He has Best in the end zone. Outlaw touchdown. So that is the way to do it as Best runs a great route against the boards and is able to come up with the 6.
Ponce de Leon in on the defense that time, but a perfectly thrown ball by Benson. And Josh Best has been dying all game to haul one in like that. So Outlaws strike quickly here in the 3rd as the clock ticks down, less than 2 minutes to go.
So less than 2 minutes. Outlaws looking to add to their total here. They'll elect not to kick the extra point and instead try and add a few more yards on.
It looks like they're going to go for 2.
So big 2-point conversion. Outlaws trail 24-12 against the Omaha Beef. And Sean King will want a timeout for the Billings Outlaws, 1:21 remaining.
Timeout.
Well, here's where
Billings.
the 3 and the
Their
4-point
first of the half.
conversions come into play. It looks like the Outlaws here might go for 2, but when you've got a 3 or 4 point after available, it can take a 10-point disadvantage and make it into a 1-score game just like that. So let's see what Sean King decides to do here. But it certainly adds a lot of excitement for the fans, adding that 3-point or the 4-point. If you're just joining us in the CIF, if you put the ball at the 5-yard line and go for the extra point from there, that's worth 3 points. If you go from the 10, it's worth 4 points. It's a big risk, but a big reward as well.
It reminds me, Jay, of Class C football in the state of Montana, where a field goal is worth more than just a conversion. And I wonder if the CIF has ever considered that, as we see kicking become more rare and rare, as more teams elect to go with with one of the conversions. So we'll see Benson back in, running back to his left.
And it looks like they are going from the 2, so they're going for the standard 2 points.
And he'll have his receivers overloaded on the right side. Benson will snap. He'll look. Benson has daylight. He'll look to rush for the end zone. He stopped just short. An amazing stand by Omaha.
Well, that looked like he was going to make it, but boy, did the whole end quickly. They closed that in a big-time hurry. So Omaha, give them credit. Aaron Jackson, the defensive back, stepped up and prevented Benson when it looked like he might get over, just not quite there.
The quarterback sneak can be, or the draw play rather, can be such a gamble, because as you get closer and closer, it becomes harder and harder to score with the defense. Luckily, the defensive back didn't have to cover very much ground to come up and make a big stop. So 1:21 remaining in the third, and the Outlaws getting on the board in the second half to make it 24-12.
Up till now, I'm looking at the point after stats for Billings. In the 2-point conversion, they have tried 12 times for a 2-point conversion, make it 13 now, and they've only made it 4 times. So you can see how dicey that is. In the 3-point conversion, they're 3 out of 5. 4 points for Billings this year, 0 for 2.
So it becomes a gamble, a lower and lower percentage the further you move back. And we'll see a kickoff ensuing here.
And as far as your traditional kick, the point after, Omaha has 16 successful kicks, and that's by far the most in the league. Salina has 14 PATs by the 1 point. So you can see when you just go for the one, those ones, just 1 point adds up a lot as the game goes along.
And we'll see Best with the kickoff. Besson for a second kickoff. That one spins off the wall, and it's down.
It'll be down right there where it hit the wall at about the Billings 23-yard line.
So I'm unsure what has happened with Darian Crow, as he's not been out, Jay, to take
the ball was kicked out of bounds. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 20-yard line. First down, Omaha.
Just over the 25 on each.
So here's the percentages on those point afters. Omaha is 72% successful on the 1 point after touchdown. Billings only 44%. And in the 2 point, it drops down. The Billings conversion is only 33% and dropped down a little lower after Benson was stopped in that last play.
And every point, every possession so crucial, as here's Omaha from the 20. Receivers in motion, and there's a handoff, and Donahue with the big stuff, but a late flag coming in all the way from the back judge. And we'll wait for the call here as Dylan Donahue fights off the blocks, Jay.
Great play by Donahue. I think it's going to be negated by perhaps a hold in the...
Illegal defense. Number 47 on Billings lined up outside of the tackle. 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
So that is a killer penalty as Powell lined up outside of the tackle box, which you can't line up super wide to gain that outside edge. And the Outlaws will pay for it, and Omaha getting bailed out.
Well, it's important to note, as you said, they gain that outside edge. If you line up too far out, you know those rules. Obviously, the officials do too, and you can see that it was a big, big factor there.
So 1st and 5 for the Beef. Here's Armstrong. He'll take the snap. There's a give up the middle.
That's Singleton, the running back, stopped quickly.
And so a hesitation and almost a read there as Omaha gains positive yardage yet again over those several hard-fought yards, as it looks like it might be a 2-yard or yard-and-a-half gain.
Jeff Luke puts his big body on that running back and brings him down. Luke 6'1", 260.
And so we'll see some action from the line as Donahue and Powell have actually been very effective on the pass rush as Armstrong drops back. We'll see a whistle on the play dead. And we'll await the call.
End of this third quarter.
And we have reached the end of the third quarter of play. The Outlaws trail the Omaha Beef 24-12 here on the CIF network. And so fourth and final frame coming up here, Jay. And we'll step out for a break, and we'll see on the other side.
Windshields are created equal. At Econoglass, we install windshields that are made to a car manufacturer's original specifications. Visit one of our locations to speak with an expert about your next windshield installation. Get quality. Get Econoglass. Remodeling your bathroom? Econoglass can transform your home with our Illumax shower doors. Designed for strength and stability and typically installed in 1 day or less. Visit one of our locations to speak with an expert about your next shower doors. Get quality. Get Econoglass.
Putting new roofing or siding on your home is not just about slapping on shingles. It's an engineered system. Hi, I'm Mitch Donahue, and this is my son Dylan.
We're proud to be local experienced contractors using the best materials around. We don't just meet code requirements, we exceed them.
Your new project is an investment. With Donahue Roofing and Siding, you can put your money into your home where it belongs.
Why not use the best? Call Donahue Roofing and Siding today.
Don't miss a second of the action as the Billings Outlaws take on the Southwest Kansas Storm Saturday, April 29th at First Interstate Bank Arena. Get your tickets today. The average life expectancy of a water heater is about 9 years. If and when leaks occur, then chances are your tank is rusted and could fail at any time. The pros at Brown Plumbing and Heating install both tank and tankless water heaters and offer free in-home estimates with a 6-year hassle-free warranty on parts and labor. No hot water during your Saturday night dinner party? No problem. Brown Plumbing schedules appointments up to 8 p.m. 6 days a week with no after hours.
Here's Tony Armstrong, and he goes down in the backfield, stumbled over his own feet, Merrick.
Tackled by the ghost, Jay, as he was looking deep, forgot his footing. Typically in indoor football, you'll see a lot of players wear basketball shoes instead of the turf cleats like we see in the NFL.
Hear about Tommy Armstrong, the longtime quarterback for the Nebraska Huskers. He's 29 years old and has come in and really done quite a job. He's the one of those dual threat quarterbacks, and the coaches that we spoke with Omaha, Merrick, say he couldn't have been a better teammate coming in as a Division I athlete. They said sometimes you never know. It's been just perfect timing for Armstrong. Throws it across the middle and a touchdown. Nice pass.
And so a great read and route with the receiver starting in the court of the end zone. Had to come back near side, and a great progression.
That's Journey Sloan out of Davenport University. He knew he was going to get hammered by the boards, but he hauled it in and had a step on his man, and Armstrong laid it in there perfectly.
And often, Jay, we'll see the boards come up as an extra defender to layer some extra punishment.
Well, that certainly brings the old momentum on the side of Omaha, just as Billings had just scored to get a little closer. Ortiz tries the extra point, but that's no good. Kind of shanked that one off to the left. So there's something positive that Billings can perhaps build on, but right now it's Omaha 30. The Billings Outlaws 12. Not sure how to react to Paul Ortiz missing an extra point.
So on that one, it came down to the plant leg. His weight was way too far forward. A lot of times the ball cannot get the loft. So in PATs, you really want to try and get that weight on the back foot and get a lob shot, if you will.
Well, that was a big possession for Omaha because Billings had just scored to cut the lead down to 24-12. But Omaha, as good teams do, answer the bell right away, and now they've expanded the lead to 30-12. We'll see how this kickoff goes. We've talked about how important the kickoff is.
And with the uprights being so close together, Jay, it's very little margin for victory. So off of all these snaps, the snap has to be perfect, the hold perfect, and then the follow through. And it's difficult in indoor football because you don't often have a tee. You have sometimes a coin or a poker chip or a piece of tape that will spot the hold for the holder, and it makes it extremely difficult.
And is there can you not use a tee?
I've not seen it. It's league by league, and I do not think you can use
I
one.
think I read that. I think you're right, but interesting. The Darian Crow, when he's been try the extra point, he's had a holder for Billings, at least in this game. Okay, Ortiz puts his ball in, foot into it. It's off the Outlaws. Bounded right off the foot of Joel Shaw, and it'll be down at about the 14-yard line, and that's where Billings will put it in play. Now the clock is not the friend for the Outlaws.
The kickball was touched and then flew out of bounds. The ball will be placed at the 14-yard line, first down.
30-12. They're going to have to find a way to score quickly.
Shaw was delayed and couldn't quite field that cleanly. Instead, he just eats the play and decides to go down. No use risking a turnover, as the Outlaws need every possession and every point.
But we've seen a lot of points scored in a short amount of time in the first 5 games of this season, so hold on to your seat. Anything can happen. Once again, Jamario Benson has Josh Batiste next to him as he sets up in the shotgun. There goes Laughing House and Josh Best in motion. Benson looking, throwing it deep, intended for Best. Into double coverage, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, that's a tough progression to send it downfield into double coverage. That is a good call, but I'd like to see the Outlaws send a bailout, maybe Batiste into the short bailout so he can get that fire drill.
Give Benson a little safety valve if necessary. Then the clock continues to run. Omaha, of course, came in undefeated, 5-0, and they've been in the lead since the very get-go. They scored first on a strip sack by Jay Sean Washington, and they have not looked back since. So Benson in the shotgun looking and finds Josh Best across the middle, complete out to the 18-yard line.
So that's a lot more, Jay, of what the Outlaws really need to do, because they had the 2 receivers deep with Laughing House there and then just had a rescue route right in midfield. So that establishes some momentum and rhythm.
Draco Statham out of Dodge City Community College in on the stop to stop Josh Best for a short gain. Brings up 3rd down, 3rd and 7. Line to gain is just short of midfield at the 24.5-yard line. Benson surveys the situation, breaks into the open, stays on his feet across the 20, but he's tackled there by the elusive number 35, who isn't on our roster.
And it appears Benson is down after that. The Outlaws had a good idea of establishing trips right to try and overload that side. And that set up a good read and sneak as Benson gets up. Looks to be shaking his knee out.
And the trainer comes out to check him out. He's given a clean bill of health as he goes back to talk to head coach Sean King.
So we'll see the Outlaws look again. We'll see what they have to come out with offensively. And they have Shaw in, Joel Shaw out of Kent State.
Well, again, it's 4th and short. Ball's at the 21-yard line. They need to get up just over the 24 for the first down. So this will be a key possession right here. Can they keep it alive? Joel Shaw drops back along with Batiste.
An empty backfield look.
Absolutely. Best and Laughing House at the line of scrimmage. And a muff snap.
So that again, Jay, comes down to some miscommunication. As the center, they were going with the silent count.
Snap infraction. Number 99 on the offense, 5-yard penalty. Stays 4th down.
And that'll back up Billings back to the 16-yard line now. So now they need almost 9 yards to pick up this first down to keep their hands on the football.
So we'll see what they come out. That was a good play call, though, whenever we can overload one side or another and try and get some receivers staggered as big opportunity.
Looks like they're going to go with the same setup with Batiste in. And he's going wide open. Did he overthrow him? Oh, Josh Batiste wide open, and no one picked him up coming out of the backfield. But unfortunately, Jamario Benson's pass falls for naught. He overthrew it by a couple of yards.
And defensively, that's what we call cheating or peeping to the backfield.
Timeout,
Omaha
media.
was not
That's the first media timeout of the fourth quarter.
They're expecting either a quarterback sneak or a draw play there. Again, the Outlaws might have exploited a weakness in the Omaha defense.
Omaha leads at 30-12. The clock is stopped with 10:16 left. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back with the final 10 minutes of this ball game. Again, Omaha leading Billings 30-12. Back inside the MetraPark First Interstate Arena, TDS Fiber Field. You saw some of our great Outlaws sponsors at the bottom of your screen. They certainly appreciate the support of all our fine sponsors. But that turnover on downs puts the ball back in the hands of Tommy Armstrong, and he gives it up the middle this time to Jeff Mack, the running back, but he's stopped for a short gain.
And Donahue and Martinelli reading that play perfectly. They shot the gap and deteriorated that hole for a big stop.
Clock running, less than 10 minutes left. Omaha enjoying a 18-point lead right now, 30-12. We've seen their dynamic offense and their dynamic defense both have been involved in scoring for the Beef to give them this 18-point advantage. Tommy Armstrong, your quarterback out of Nebraska, the longtime Husker signal caller. Sends Travion Samuel in motion. Looking across the middle, off the hands and intercepted by Martinelli in the end zone. Can he get it out? He does. To the one. Maybe that was not the right move. He might have gone down in the end zone. But
that is exactly, Jay, why we practice tip drills all the way from the youngsters level for those of you watching at home, all the way to the elite NFL, because you never know how the ball is going to change flight. And that's one of the tactics that the Outlaws need to employ more, is being more aggressive. And
the ruling on the field is an interception by Billings Outlaws. They were tackled on the 1-yard line. By rule, that ball will be moved to the 5-yard line, first down.
So Billings takes over 1st and 10 from the 5. That was off the hands of Kendall Jefferson. He's at Rocky Mountain College. Why I mentioned Kendall here, went right off his hands. And Martinelli was there to pick up the ball that flew right up. It was up for grabs in the end zone. Martinelli decided to run it out. Got tackled at the 1, so they'll give Billings the ball. 1st and 10 at the 5-yard line, and the clock is rolling now. 8 minutes and 45 seconds left. Ball on the ground. It's going to be recovered by the Beef into the end zone.
Well, again, that's another miscommunication, Jay, is the snap or the center and the quarterback were not on the same play as that cadence. And that's, out of anywhere to fumble the ball, the worst.
Jamario Benson never got it. The ball was on the ground, and as momentum was taking him back to set up the pass play, the big lineman for the Beef just pounced on the ball, and another turnover costing Billings dearly here.
And there's only so much you can do when the ball short hops on its way back to the quarterback, as momentum's trying to carry the quarterback back, as you mentioned.
And as luck would have it, that was number 35 again, making a big play, and we'd love to tell you who that is, fans, but unfortunately he's not listed on the Omaha Beef roster that we have before us. So he's having a good game, and I think has secured himself a spot with the team. Next week he'll definitely be on the roster.
Yeah, that's just part of the CIF, is changing rosters, changing numbers. Who wants to play?
Absolutely. Here's Ortiz. The snap was in the ground, but the holder, Travion Samuel, did a great job there as he picked up the ball off the turf, got it set, and Ortiz split the uprights. So the Beef now expand their advantage to 25 points. They lead it 37-12 with 7 minutes and 43 seconds. And that's a dejected group of Outlaws leaving the field trying to regroup.
Yeah, and there's a few fans trickling out here, but some still staying, still entertaining football. With our first weekend game, a pretty good crowd on hand at MetraPark, which has a reputation of being a fortress when it gets loud enough.
Absolutely, that would have to be one of the positive things happening in this game for Billings. Certainly not the score, but the largest crowd we've had out of their 3 home games so far, and the fans are enjoying it, but think how much they would really be enjoying it if it was a little more competitive. The Omahas had the upper hand from the beginning.
Well, an Omaha Beef showing why they are the first place team in the Champions Indoor Football.
So we've talked about the Omaha kicker, Paul Ortiz, who has definitely secured himself a roster spot after coming up so huge. He's been the special teams player of the week a couple of times since he joined the Beef, and he's having another stellar game here, just showing how important, as we've mentioned, not to be redundant, but the kicking game is really shining here, showing how important it is here in the CIF. And that kickoff by Ortiz hits the scoreboard, as we mentioned. There's a possibility.
That'll be spotted at the 25.
The kickball
we were talking
hit the scoreboard. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 25-yard line. First down.
Some teams will lower, some teams will raise the score clock, and it kind of hedges a bet as far as special teams play.
It's deceptive from our angle here, but as Ortiz was kicking that, I went, looks like he might hit the scoreboard with that. The scoreboard here in Billings hangs over the center of the field, quite high in the Metra, and it can be. It's interesting, does the home team have the wherewithal to be able to hang it at whatever distance they want, or is that regulated by the league? Good question.
It would be impossible to regulate just because of the height of the roofs given the various buildings. Seen super low roofs where every kickoff is
Good point,
punched
Merrick.
off the rafters.
Well, let's see if Billings can get back with something positive after that miscue on the kickoff. Benson scrambling and running for his life again. Finds Josh Best complete at the 15. He fights for extra yardage and gets a couple slaps on the helmet by the fans there in the suites right over the boards. That'll be a first down for the Outlaws.
And Best running a comeback route at button hook.
Holding
a penalty here
on the
as
offense.
The Outlaws are dinged
Number
for
79,
a hold
10-yard penalty from the previous
really
spot.
passing
Stays
foul.
first down.
They don't need to help the defense anymore.
Well, I spoke too soon about that first down. And the call going against Kenneth Williams was he's talking to the officials going, what'd I do?
Yeah, and it's never the lineman's fault.
Williams out of Millikan University, and he's a big boy, 6'5", 315 there on the offensive line. So Benson will try to still first down, but it's 1st and 20 now as that hold costs Billings 10 yards. Here's the pass to Best. Escapes a couple tacklers, goes across the 20 out to the 21-yard line. You can see Josh Best has those quick feet and good hands.
And he's emerging as a top target for Benson. We'll see if he stays the top target, as next week the Outlaws plan to play their new acquisition from Topeka.
Best had 3 receptions for 23 yards and 2 touchdowns coming into this game, and he's definitely been the top target so far for Jamario. So Benson calling the signals. Joel Shaw now comes up, split out wide to the near side. Benson getting some pressure, finds Laughinghouse across the 20 and down across the 20 to the 19-yard line. Good hands there. Billings has had their problems holding on to the football, but right now they're doing a better job with that ball security.
On that play, Jay, both receivers decided to find some open space and wait. Sometimes we'll see a throw to a spot. In this case, they're attempting to see where the coverage would come from the Omaha defense.
It brings up third down, 3rd and 5. Yard to gain is at the 15-yard line. The ball just over, so it's about 3rd and 4 to be exact. Benson sends his receivers in motion, buys some time, steps out of the pressure, across the middle, intended for Joel Shaw, but about 3 yards short.
Well, and Benson doing all he could do, but unfortunately throwing across the body is a really tough play to make, even in the NFL level. He had a great pass rush, or Omaha rather had a great pass rush, brought in by Tamar Hart, who read that play perfectly.
Benson, a lot of this will be a good learning experience. As I mentioned, he came in at the end of last season and spelled Charles McCullum and got the team, the Outlaws, into the semifinals, but he's had limited, only threw 4 passes prior to this game tonight this season. Looking in, across the middle, and it's picked off. Aaron Jackson, the defensive back, intercepts.
Well, and unfortunately, that pass just went to the opposite shoulder as he tried to lead Best. However, it proved fatal here as we see an interception. Best ran a great seam route, though, and that's been open the past few attempts by the Outlaws.
Aaron Jackson, the defensive back out of Texas A&M. He had 1 interception coming into this game, and that makes it 2. He's one of the leading tacklers on the beat. Came into this game with 17 tackles to his credit. You can see they are a well-rounded team, Merrick, both offensively and defensively. They are going to be tough to derail as they go after this CIF championship.
And they can get it done multiple ways, through the air, on the ground. They can bring a thunder physical approach. They can also bring a speed approach, and proving why they are exactly the first place team.
So Tommy Armstrong directing traffic, making sure he has his receivers in the right slots that he wants. And now they go in motion. Billings tries to apply the pressure, but Armstrong gets loose, and Martinelli brings him down after a hit at about the 9-yard line.
So Armstrong drops back, sees that his receivers are covered well. Great decision to pull it and run. A while ago, the Outlaws had a quarterback, Bob Bees, that was not very mobile, an older guy, and the ball usually ended up in the stands on pressure. So either way is a good attempt.
Clock running now, less than 4 minutes to go in the ball game. It's Omaha 37, Billings 12, and Omaha, after that interception, facing 2nd and 9 yards to go. Ball on the ground, skips its way to Armstrong, and Billings closes that quickly.
And that was a great play by Powell. He gained the edge, he read it, and stopped Armstrong from scrambling out, which hasn't been done very much. Armstrong very elusive. He's rushed for 91 yards coming into tonight's game.
That's Rashad Powell, senior. Defensive lineman, 6'3", 260 out of Northwestern State. He's been busy tonight. He finds himself on the defensive line along with Dylan Donahue and Jeff Luke. Martinelli is your middle linebacker. Armstrong surveys the situation, looking now at a 3rd and 12. He's loose in the backfield, completes his pass, and a good tackle made by Denarius Antoine.
So Denarius Antoine, great job closing the gap, gaining some speed as he was pulled away in coverage, and an effective comeback route.
That was Jeff Mack out of the backfield who hauled that pass in. It'll bring up 4th down. Will we see another field goal attempt from here? Perhaps. Ortiz is looking to kick this one deep.
And unfortunately, the ball will be spotted in the way of the clock, so we'll see the clock.
Let's see if the scoreboard comes into play here. So Ortiz, the ball will be put in play at the 7-yard line.
And look for a return from Best here.
Best hauls it in at the 3, gets a block out to the 15, still on his feet on the 20. Still on his feet, fights for midfield, and that's where he'll go down, and a penalty flag flies. And that looks like the kicker. That may come up a little bit lame there. Let's see.
So Ortiz having to step up and make a tackle. That'll gain him some street cred, though, with his counterparts. And we saw Best, similar to a Devin Hester, return
Personal
the ball
foul,
deep in the end zone.
face mask, number 50. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal. First down, Billings.
Big play there for Billings as the face mask is called against Omaha. And they'll mark this down inside the 10-yard line, right at the inside the 15-yard line, rather.
So with 151 in the Outlaws trailing, look for the Outlaws to build on something that they can take into next week's game and get back on track at home.
Absolutely. Next week, Billings at home again. They take on the Southwest Kansas Storm, and that's the team they're tied with going into tonight for 4th and 5th place in the league standings. So that should be a good game next week as well.
Right, and the top 6 teams, Jay, will make the playoffs in the CIF.
And right now, Gillette and Omaha have secured playoff spots. Remains to be seen at what point, if they'll be getting the first week buys in the playoffs or not, but we'll see. That pass intended for Josh Best, but Benson's Best got kind of caught up in the traffic.
Right, I think that both teams expected a penalty there as Ramirez was a little bit late coming off, or early coming off the line, and again, thrown to a spot that Batiste did not get to in time.
So that brings up second. They can still get a first down. The yard to gain's at the 3-yard line.
Timeout, media. Final media timeout of the game.
And we'll take a timeout as well. With the score, Omaha 37, Billings 12. You're watching Champions Indoor Football here on the CIF streaming network. We'll be right back.
Putting new roofing or siding on your home is not just about slapping on shingles. It's an engineered system. Hi, I'm Mitch Donahue, and this is my son Dylan.
We're proud to be local experienced contractors using the best materials around. We don't just meet code requirements, we exceed them.
Your new project is an investment. With Donahue Roofing and Siding, you can put your money into your home where it belongs.
Why not use the best? Call Donahue Roofing and Siding today.
Not all replacement windshields are created equal. At Econoglass, we install windshields that are made to a car manufacturer's original specifications. Visit one of our locations to speak with an expert about your next windshield installation. Get quality. Get Econoglass. Remodeling your bathroom? Econoglass can transform your home with our Lumax shower doors. Designed for strength and stability and typically installed in 1 day or less. Visit one of our locations to speak with an expert about your next shower doors. Get quality. Get Econoglass.
Welcome back. Final minute of play here is the Omaha Beef enjoying a 37-12 lead over the Billings Outlaws, but Billings has the ball at the 13-yard line, trying to see if they can get in that end zone and end this game on a positive note. There goes Laughinghouse and Best in motion. Jamario Betson scrambling, trying to get out of it, and he completes it to Joel Shaw, who's got it at the 3-yard line where he hits the boards.
So Joel Shaw is interesting. He was the top running back at Kent State, but making his case known as an effective wide receiver. He's only been targeted just a few times tonight.
And here comes the jumbo package, we'll call it. Jeff Luke comes in along with Denarius Antoine. We saw this earlier when the Outlaws got inside the 5. They just said, we're going to run the ball at you. So Luke will set up like the fullback, and Antoine as the tailback out of the I formation with Benson under center. And it's a pitch. And the pitch has gone awry, and it's on the field, and that's Jay Shun Washington for another 6, a defensive touchdown.
And so we have a late flag after a late hit. In hockey, we would call that a boarding after the whistle, and that happened here.
Well, that play they tried a pitch to Antoine rather than a handoff, and he never had a chance. The pitch was looked from here as it was kind of behind him. Took one bounce, and Jay Sean Washington, the man of the hour, picked up another defensive touchdown.
Personal foul, number 2 on Billings. That 15 yards will be banked and forced on the kickoff.
So
after the kickoff,
with
correction.
that play call, they have the jumbo package in. If you are going to pitch, you really need to fake it to the halfback and have him dive to get some misdirection. On that, we saw the cornerback just stay home and make an excellent play on the ball.
And Daenerys Antoine gets called as he came in and tackled Washington in the end zone after the play was pretty much over. So that personal foul sets up the Beef even better. So that expands that another defensive touchdown now for Omaha. Expands the lead to 43-12, and the clock is stopped with 44 seconds left. And now the fans are beginning to filter out here from MetraPark, as it turned out not the way the Outlaw fans wanted to see it. Armstrong looking, happy feet, still has some pressure, turns around, exchanges his field position, and throws the extra point, and it's good.
The run just as effective as anything.
Don't miss a second.
Receiver, and you can see why Armstrong likes to find him, because he gets open.
And part of that, Jay, was a breakdown in the pass rush. Armstrong had a whole hour almost to throw it seemed.
And he was able to reverse his field, look over the field 2 or 3 times before he kind of faked like he was going to run it, and then he found his receiver open in the end zone. So the 2-point conversion is successful, and it's a 45-12 lead now for Omaha with just 44 seconds left. And the Outlaws going to walk out of the building tonight with a sour taste in their mouth. They were in the game at halftime. They were down by 12 midway through the third quarter, and then things just got out of hand.
Yeah, the score doesn't quite reflect part of the effort that was given. The Outlaws definitely have some stuff to build on. Again, with the effective play at linebacker from Martinelli, and also Best making his presence known. And they'll hope to build some momentum, hopefully, here and at least establish something heading into the game against the Southwest Kansas Storm.
Yeah, we'll look ahead towards next weekend as Billings will be falling now. Their record will drop to 2-4, while the Omaha Beef will improve to 6-0. The Billings team can still, if they would run the schedule with all victories, could still get to the playoffs with a winning record. A kickoff takes a wild bounce, picked up and run out to the 6-yard line.
And that was Batiste there with the return. He had to field the ball on a short hop. And what's interesting, Jay, unlike the outdoor game, the CIF, you will see a lot more squid kicks along the ground. Usually in the outdoor game, we would squid it just to get it to the big guys that weren't very fast or to run some time off.
And again, a little chippy out on the field. We've got a couple of players squaring off. Batiste.
The previous personal foul on the touchdown has been enforced from the 6-yard line to the 3-yard line. First down, Billings.
Phone numbers are just pleasantries, I'm not sure, but.
Yeah, I think Omaha is asking for a good spot to eat for dinner. What would be your suggestion, Jay?
Well, it depends how much time you have.
That's very true.
Billings has a great selection of places to eat, but I'd hate to give you a recommendation and then disappoint you. So you can't go wrong with any of the places downtown. I enjoy Stacked, Jake's, you name it. Here's the give to Batiste. And it's just pretty much a stalemate at this point between the offensive and defensive lines.
Yeah, so look for the chippiness to continue, as typically will happen during the last parts of the fourth quarter.
Well, it'll be a pleasant bus trip back to Omaha for the Beef, as they've protected their undefeated record here, and they're going to go back with a perfect 6-0 mark. Here's the last play of the game, barring a penalty. It's Batiste again, out across the 10, still on his feet, and the clock will run out on this game. Omaha comes into MetraPark and throttles the Billings Outlaws. Your final score, Omaha 45, the Outlaws 12, in a game that was close at halftime, but pretty much the Omaha Beef had their way with it for most of the game. It was 21-6 at halftime. The Outlaws came back to make it 24-12, and then final score as Omaha added a couple of touchdowns, both offensively and defensively, in the fourth quarter, and they'll come out of here with a 45-12 victory, Merrick.
So, yes, Jay, it really was a game of two halves. The Outlaws put together a very good first half, keeping Armstrong off the board until halfway through that first frame, and then they weren't able to keep up. Omaha just very effective, taking advantage of turnovers, and those proved to be extremely costly, Jay.
Absolutely. You see some of the great Billings Outlaws sponsor, Firehouse Subs, the Sycor Trailer, Wings and Things, Billings Chamber of Commerce. We ask you to please support these businesses as they support your Billings Outlaws. They are very important. 5 on Black, there's a great place to eat if you haven't been there. Jim Tracy's J&M Tire and the Panda Express, all teaming up to help the Outlaws with a successful season. Brown Plumbing and Heating, one of the big sponsors, along with Alpha Overhead Door and the Max Shack. You can see some of the great sponsors that have lined up to help these Billings Outlaws. So they'll have to regroup, Merrick, and next week they get to play at home again, 2 home games in a row. A little bit different as the middle part of the season. They need to take advantage of this home field advantage.
Especially if they are going to be one of the top 6 teams into the postseason, as games like the Kansas Storm could be somewhat of a trap game. So the Outlaws really need to come out and battle.
Again, next week, Billings will host the Southwest Kansas Storm. Gillette plays Sioux City. Rapid City takes on Omaha. Topeka has a bye next week. We should mention that the league had to step in and take over the operation at the Topeka Tropics, and that happened midway through this week, so we'll wait to hear what the upshot of that is. Topeka's actually had some very good offensive numbers, but they haven't been able to stop anybody this season, and I know they had a new ownership group down there. Things apparently weren't working out to the league's satisfaction, so they moved in and took over operation of that club. We'll see how that all pans out, but that's something to keep an eye on for you CIF fans.
And luckily, the Outlaws were a benefactor with that ownership changes. Stefan Lorenz will come over and maybe get the nod to go at QB1 next week.
I think he has to sit out one more game,
I've
been told.
Okay.
So he might still have Jamario Benson. He'll get another game of quarterback under his belt. We're going to take a break. The game is over, and the Omaha Beef have taken down the Billings Outlaws tonight. Your final 45-12. We'll be back to tell you about the players of the game when we return.
When storms happen, storm chasers from out of state immediately follow.
You've probably seen them running around town lately. My father has owned this company for over 20 years.
I've been local my whole life, and we're going to be here long after the storm is over.
Donahue Roofing offers an unprecedented lifetime warranty.
We're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. We'll work with your insurance company to make it easy on you.
When you need help, choose local.
And call Donahue Roofing and Siding today.
Over a period of time, hard water deposits can damage or even ruin your expensive in-home appliances. Let Brown Plumbing and Heating help you protect your investments with a water filtration system. With our licensed plumbers, installing a new water filtration system will be a snap. Brown Plumbing and Heating offers free in-home estimates and free in-home water testing. Don't let hard water be the downfall of your home appliances. Call Brown Plumbing and Heating for your water filtration system needs. Don't miss a second of the action as the Billings Outlaws take on the Southwest Kansas Storm Saturday, April 29th at First Interstate Bank Arena. Get your tickets today.
Not all replacement windshields are created equal. At Econoglass, we install windshields that are made to a car manufacturer's original specifications. Visit one of our locations to speak with an expert about your next windshield installation. Get quality. Get Econoglass. Remodeling your bathroom? Econoglass can transform your home with our Lumax shower doors. Designed for strength and stability and typically installed in 1 day or less. Visit one of our locations to speak with an expert about your next shower doors. Get quality. Get Econoglass.
When plumbing frequently clogs, it's a sign of bigger problems. Brown Plumbing has a better alternative that cleans pipes in less time with longer-lasting results. Jetting completely clears your pipes of old, hard-to-remove deposits and roots with highly pressurized water that safely breaks down buildup in your pipes. The jetting method is perfect for any residential or commercial job and is safer for your plumbing. Brown Plumbing, keeping our name out of your drain.
Putting new roofing or siding on your home is not just about slapping on shingles. It's an engineered system. Hi, I'm Mitch Donahue, and this is my son Dylan.
We're proud to be local experienced contractors using the best materials around. We don't just meet code requirements, we exceed them.
Your new project is an investment. With Donahue Roofing and Siding, you can put your money into your home where it belongs.
Why not use the best? Call Donahue Roofing and Siding today.
And we welcome you back inside the MetraPark, First Interstate Arena, TDS Fiber Field, home turf for the Billings Outlaws. And unfortunately, Merrick, this home field advantage didn't come to roost for Billings tonight, but they ran into a juggernaut. These Omaha Beef are the real deal.
And it's a tough game, Jay. They're coming off of a bye week, the Billings Outlaws were, so it's extra hard coming off a bye and then added pressure of taking on the top team, really the class of the league.
And we talked about all the personnel changes, not just in the head coaching job where Sean King has moved in as the interim head coach, but we had a new quarterback. We had some new offensive and defensive linemen. The effort was there, some miscommunication here or there, and some ball security issues that cost Billings early.
And so back at practice, if the Outlaws can get that chemistry together, it's always tough with getting new faces, new numbers in there, but if they can develop that chemistry, and we'll see a massive improvement hopefully next week.
Well, you look down on the field as the fans mix it up, get some autographs with the Outlaws. Maybe the most positive thing I saw here today was a large crowd that turned out here. It's hard to gauge how many people are here in the Metro, mainly because they all sit around the boards where the suites are, as though those are the suites seats, so to speak. But I think they're still going a long way to try to build that fan base. Last year we did pretty good. The end of the season didn't end as we wanted it to and had to have that playoff game in the Outlaws complex versus here at the Metro. And now this year we'll see how things pan out, but slowly but surely it looks like the fan base is building back in.
And you mentioned the fan base, Jay. One of the truly unique and great things about indoor football is the fan involvement after the game. We see parents and kids all out getting autographs. This is how memories are made here, and I have plenty of good memories as a kid coming in and getting my shirt signed by the great Travis Salter or Jaquan Breckenridge. So new memories, new generation.
Let's talk about Travis Salter, one of the standout Outlaws from the past, facing a difficult diagnosis. And next weekend, they're going to have a special, the whole game is going to be pretty much designated and in his honor. He's fighting what kind of cancer?
I think it's cancer of the colon here.
Colon cancer. And it's at an advanced stage. But the last interview I saw with Travis, he's still hanging in there. He was out in Seattle getting some of his latest treatment. The word I heard is that he's feeling much better after that. Of course, he also got a little publicity here in Billings this year where he saved some girls from drowning who drove their car into the irrigation ditch. And so the fans have a lot to be proud of with Travis Salter, and they remember back when he was the middle linebacker for the team in some of the Outlaws' earlier days. That's probably when you were running around here, right, Merritt?
That's correct. Yeah, the king of Billings, Travis Salter, and he's from Linwood, Washington, came over here and played for Rockies. So
absolutely.
Early hometown hero, and he led the league in tackles almost every year he played. In fact, there's a ball that sits on our mantle at home that he recovered on the goal line to save a crucial win against the Wyoming Cavalry back in the day.
Remember, he had the crown, and he would call King Salter And we'll look forward to next weekend when they honor him and have him being the guest of honor here in the Outlaws game. Of course, next weekend it's Southwest Kansas here. That's a game that the Outlaws could win, and hopefully they're going to put everything they can to, because they need a victory. Coming into the game, the Outlaws were 2-3, so they fall to 2-4. We'll see how Southwest Kansas did in this game. They played, they were playing Sioux City tonight. So Sioux City is right up there near the top as well. So we'll see how it looks like. Maybe we could have a battle of 2 and 4 teams next week, depending on how that game between Kansas and Sioux City comes out tonight.
And 2 chances, Jay, to get back into the win column is they have Topeka on the road that following week. So if they can play their cards right here, they can win 2 in a row, and that would help alleviate some of the sting of this home loss.
Absolutely. You don't like to lose those games at home. They're crucial. Every home game, that home field advantage really comes to play. And as you mentioned, Merrick, we're all looking forward to the playoffs. Out of the 8 teams, 6 teams make the playoffs. The top 2 teams with the best records get byes. And right now, if the playoffs were to happen today, it looks like we would end up playing the Salina Liberty, which would be a tough opening playoff game. But we'll see. There's still some games to go. We can improve in the standings, and we'll have to see how it all shakes out. That's if the playoffs were held today, and that was prior to the games tonight. So we'll see how it all shakes out. I want to thank all our folks that have gone the extra effort to make the camera work as best we can. We know we had a little bit of technical difficulties getting on the stream early, but CIF fans are patient as we all have to be in this day and age. And when you're dealing with all the equipment that we have, bound to happen, something's going to go wrong. That's just a guarantee.
And a great move, though, by the CIF to put all their games on the YouTube CIF network, making it accessible to fans, and that's just how they're going to grow the game.
Absolutely. The Champions Indoor Football Network having a few growing pains here and there, and the fans have expressed their displeasure with some of the things that have happened, but at least the league has an ear. They have given the fans a way to watch the games, and they listen when the fans complain. They've made some changes, and they are learning just along with the rest of us as well.
Well, and look at the fine rule that was instituted for teams that have lackluster or poor streaming could result in the fine. And I was just reminiscing earlier about trying to stream games on the NIFL network, and it was either buffering or it would drop out. So I know fans are excited to catch their game whenever. I have some fans watching back home in Washington, Herbie Sisson and Doug Smith. So, yeah, a lot of fans tuning in coast to coast here.
Let's talk about quarterback Jamario Benson. Had a rough game, had some flashes of brilliance, had a couple wide open receivers, and he just overthrew him. One happened right after he injured his leg. I'm not sure if that affected him, but what can he build on going to next weekend?
Sure, so a lot of that's just timing. So as he gets more and more reps with some of the new faces that were brought in to start, also just getting his sync down. So if the Outlaws try and change their passing attack from going long first and trying to opening up with a short West Coast offense, we'll probably see a big improvement. That, of course, Jay, will open up a run game too.
We did get a chance to see some of the top players defensively. This Jay-Sean Washington from Omaha, who's been a 2-time Defensive Player of the Week. He had 2 touchdowns tonight. He could be a 3-time Player of the Week on the defensive side of the ball, as he was right in the right spot on a couple of fumbles. The ball just bounced right up to him, one on a bad pitch, and earlier on a fumble, and it was off to the races. Nobody was going to catch him.
Yeah, he was pretty impressive and can make it happen. Also, defensively with the Outlaws, though, a lot of good things coming out of Martinelli at the linebacker spot. Very athletic. And what you do when you add Martinelli reminds me a lot of Travis Salter, both tall, athletic linebackers. And when you have that tall, quick linebacker, you can almost use him as a safety in pass defense. Unlike the NFL, you love the matchup of a receiver on a linebacker because the speed's just not there.
I was looking through some of the league leaders as far as the stats go. Tommy Armstrong came in as the 4th leading passer in the league. This Mike Pina from Gillette is really setting the world on fire, and he's leading in most of those. For the Outlaws, it's Denarius Antoine leading in the tackling department. He was tops in the league coming into this game with 32, but Jay-Sean Washington He was a half a sack ahead of Dylan Donahue coming into this game, and I'm not sure he had any sacks, but he did have 2 touchdowns on big defensive plays that turned the tide to Omaha's favor both early and late in this game.
What makes Omaha, Jay, so effective defensively is the pressure can come from anywhere. The Outlaws do a great job providing the front 4 pressure. However, Omaha can bring it from the edge. They can bring it from the defensive backfield. We can see it all directions.
Well, we've been waiting to see if we were getting the picks for the players of the game. I don't see anyone coming up here yet. So your final thoughts, Merrick. You'll be back in mid-May to do some play-by-play with the Outlaws on the 13th of May when I'm going to be gone. It's been a pleasure working with you. Some of your thoughts as you leave. It was fun working with you.
Sure. Thank you, Jay. And the pleasure's mine. I'm looking really forward to working May 13th. And I thought I saw a lot of stuff the Outlaws can build on here as they get the consistency back, as they get some of the chemistry coming back. So building on that and cutting down on turnovers. Maybe they go to look to apply some of that Potomac River mud for ball security's sake, Jay.
Well, I like the Outlaws history that you brought to the game tonight and the broadcast, and you're really up on all the league rules. And you can spend a whole night reading through the rules of the league. And I appreciate all your work that you did getting ready for the broadcast. It really paid off and showed.
Of course, Jay. Thank you, and it's an honor to join you. I'm a big fan of your work with some of the Big Sky football, and looking forward to seeing you this year as well.
All right, fans, thanks for joining us here on the CIF Streaming Network. Again, the final from Billings tonight. Omaha comes in and leaves still undefeated. They're 6-0 in the season as they turn back the Billings Outlaws here tonight by the final of 45-12. For Merrick Parnell, I'm Jay Cohn. Thanks to all our technical crew that made this broadcast possible. We'll join you next week against Southwest Kansas here in Billings for another home game for the Outlaws. It'll be a 6:30 Saturday night kickoff. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
Storm chasers from out of state immediately follow.
You've probably seen them running around town lately. My father has owned this company for over 20 years.
I've been local my whole life, and we're going to be here long after the storm is over.
Donahue Roofing offers an unprecedented lifetime warranty.
We're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. We'll work with your insurance company to make it easy on you.
When you need help, choose local.
And call Donahue Roofing and Siding today.
When plumbing frequently clogs, it's a sign of bigger problems. Brown Plumbing has a better alternative that cleans pipes in less time with longer-lasting results. Jetting completely clears your pipes of old, hard-to-remove deposits and roots with highly pressurized water that safely breaks down buildup in your pipes. The jetting method is perfect for any residential or commercial job and is safer for your plumbing. Brown Plumbing, keeping our name out of your drain.
Not all replacement windshields are created equal. At Econoglass, we install windshields that are made to a car manufacturer's original specifications. Visit one of our locations to speak with an expert about your next windshield installation. Get quality. Get Econoglass. Remodeling your bathroom? Econoglass can transform your home with our Lumax shower doors. Designed for strength and stability and typically installed in 1 day or less. Visit one of our locations to speak with an expert about your next shower doors. Get quality. Get Econoglass.
Don't miss a second of the action as the Billings Outlaws take on the Southwest Kansas Storm Saturday, April 29th at First Interstate Bank Arena. Get your tickets today.